receivers left, one to the right. That's the wide side. Helms wants to throw. Straight drop. Ball comes out. Picked off. This is intercepted by Jack Henderson to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown. Pick 6.
And here comes Daniel Jones, 12 of 22 for 111 yards. Vikes lead 21-6. Jones. Oh, he threw it to Van Ginkel. Touchdown! That's the 4th touchdown in Andrew Van Ginkel's career. And he read Daniel Jones like a book, and that book had a happy ending. So, with Brockington, I mean, what exactly are you going to say to him in the cafeteria? In the cafeteria, if you happen to see him today, and like, how well do you know him?
Well, if anybody knows him, and I know him pretty well just from seeing him in the cafeteria enough. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always happy-go-lucky. You know, I'm gonna just make a little I mean, he played well. He had 2 catches for 38 yards. I think he had a touchdown as well. Yeah, he had a touchdown. He had a 29-yard reception. There was one that went through the hands, and you know, as a guy, you just gotta make sure he knows. And then vice versa. I hope, you know, if I miss a shot or miss a dunk, you know, this winter, he comes up to me and says the same thing. So I think it's just that friendly banner. It's always fun to see those guys, and it's fun to see them after a win. You know, it's just a different vibe in the cafeteria when, you know, they walk in on a Monday after after the loss to North Carolina. And it was just like,
so this is the cafeteria for all students.
Yeah, student athletes.
Oh, student athletes have their own cafeteria.
Yeah, we have a cafeteria on campus in the Land O'Lakes Center, and it's all athletes. So every single athlete from, you know, the rowing team and the softball to us and football.
So like you shared lunch or sat down with Brock Faber a few years ago.
I did. Wow. Yes, I did actually. So I will share this story.
That's sweet.
You know, coming in my first day in the cafeteria, I sat down, and it was a couple basketball players, and then over to my right was Tanner Morgan. Mm-hmm. And I'd never met Tanner, but as a Gopher football fan, I was like almost starstruck. And I remember just like texting my mom and was like, Tanner Morgan's in the cafeteria with me right now. And she's like, go say hi. So I ended up going and saying hello and introduced myself. And actually we kind of built a friendship, and we still talk to this day. He just texted me the other day. So, you know, he's a great dude. But, you know, those kind of things are sweet because it's like, you know, especially when it comes to that hockey team too. All those guys are going to be NHL players, and they're just sitting there in the cafeteria. Brock Faber's in there, Matthew Nyes is in there, Logan Cooley's in there for all the hockey fans. So it's cool to just surround yourself with people who are so good at what they do.
Well, Taylor's going to remind you, Brad Frost has had a good team for quite some, you know, quite a lot of years, right?
Oh yeah, that women's hockey team, they've done a really good job over the years. Coach Frost is a good guy. I see him all the time. But yeah, they always have a really good team. They'll be good again this year, and you know, that's a fun thing to cheer on as a Minnesota sports fan and as a hockey fan. You know, going to their games, they often kind of bump up to the men's games. So I would go to the women's games at the 5:30 and then bump myself over to Mariucci Arena to go watch the men's. So a night full of hockey is I guess a Minnesota dream right there.
That's that's awesome. The adoration that you're showing for women's hockey, and it has more so to do with your love of sports than your girlfriend. Is she your fiance or girlfriend?
Just still girlfriend.
Yeah, than your girlfriend.
Yes.
And in fact, you know, there is a next step to be taken because a neighbor of mine, a dear friend of mine, named Randy Keppel, coaches the Holy Family Girls High School hockey team. Yep. And I've been known to go to some games to support him, so I think we're gonna have to bring old P Fox out Victoria way to learn the learn the nuance of the neutral zone trap.
I guess, yeah. You can't turn the puck over in the neutral zone. You got to get the pucks in deep.
I thought you were going to be like, well, you got practice. I got to go to West Lafayette. I got this and everything.
I'm down, man. Let's go. Let's go watch some high school girls hockey, man. Let's do it.
Okay, you're an elite sports mind. Don't want to catch you off guard with this. If it's a no problem. Did you happen to watch Colorado football at Nebraska Saturday night?
I did. I missed the first half because I had a little golf invitational championship. Got second place. Not to toot my own horn, but
sweet.
Yeah, I played all right.
What's your handicap?
I'm a 10 right now.
Okay.
So I'm a decent player. I'm working on it. I'm getting better. But no, I did watch the second half. Yeah. And
we don't need to break down minutia or anything.
No.
It's, you know, my daughter goes to school there. So I've just, you know, and Pat Shermer is their offensive coordinator, a friend of mine from Vikings days gone by. Shoot, Phil Lodeholt is their offensive line coach. Wow. They just hired Big Phil into this season. I think Warren Sapp might be part of the mix.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we're glitzy here. I mean, we're awfully glitzy out Boulder way.
Did you see his comments after the game, Shedeur Sanders? Did you see his comments?
I saw on Twitter that it's like it was a tweet from somebody where I just read what the person wrote, and I didn't listen to Shedeur for myself. But he was basically like, no accountability, placed all of the blame on his offensive line. Did you listen to like what Shedeur said?
Yeah, I did. And basically, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. He blamed it on his O-line, basically said, Raiola wasn't touched the whole game. Why was I getting touched? And it's like,
Raiola's not bad, by the way. That's a pretty sharp quarterback. He's new there, right?
Yeah. Is he a freshman, Nardo?
He's the former Lions cat, Dominic Raiola's
Are you kidding me? Which means he's going to push the envelope and cheat. Good for that kid.
Good career for him.
That's what Dominic Raiola did. He was one of the sneaky ass. Talk to Kevin Williams, former defensive tackle, big ticket. It's when you're going to come out and call somebody a cheater. Like, just think John Stockton when he played for Utah. Everybody, like when he left the game, was like, he did just enough to push the envelope on things and not get called. Then he got famous and got really good, and nobody wanted to call anything on him. And that's what Dominic Raiola was. He had some nasty to him, man, and his kid looked good.
Oh, he looks great.
And he is a freshman, too.
Dominic Raiola's kid is a quarterback in Nebraska.
He's got room to grow, and he is damn nice.
And I think he was committed to Ohio State or Georgia or one or the other, and then flipped it to Nebraska. And I guess he looks like identical to Patrick Mahomes, too, has some of those Mahomes-esque sidearm throws and all that kind of stuff. That's the
generation.
So it is.
I think it might have been Mike Florio or somebody pointed this out a couple of weeks ago, 9 to noon. Caleb Williams is who I was talking about. It was Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, where he's like, this is the generation now of the kids, specifically the talented kids who grew up watching Patrick.
Yeah.
So they all
see it.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can see it. And if you watched any of the Bears stuff yesterday, obviously Caleb wasn't great, but there was a couple times where, he probably should have stayed in the pocket and delivered a pass, but tried to get out. And it's like these big defensive ends, putting their paws on him. It's like, you could get away with that in college, but you can't anymore. And then
Arizona State anymore running after you.
The reason I brought up Colorado Buffalo football is my daughter was at she has student tickets and she was at a Colorado Stanford game last year. Okay, and it's really late cornfields. I mean, she FaceTimed me about 11:45 midnight-ish because they're killing the Cardinal. Now the Cardinal ain't that great.
No,
it might have been 10:30, 10:45. It was third quarter-ish. And she's like, she wanted me to explain to her, like, what has to happen for a team to get to the national championship. All right. Well, that's how hyped Colorado was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the talk of all sports at that point. Every single sport going, it was getting the most clicks online, and most people were following it because of Neon, because of Dion.
Yeah.
Well,
didn't they beat TCU or something early on that kind of led to that initial burst?
Yeah, they were a 21-point dog at Texas Christian University, went down there and just whooped on them.
Yeah, and TCU was just in the national championship the year before.
Yeah,
and then they just kept winning and winning and winning. Well, so she's with her friends, and she asked me about a national championship to get to the championship game. And then we were talking for a little bit. I go to bed. She's at the game at Folsom Field. And they got outscored 37-6 in the second half, and Stanford might have scored 21 points in 2.5 minutes to force overtime, and they lost in overtime. They've only won one game since, and I could argue they should have lost to North Dakota State University. Dion did everything to mess that game up with his arrogance.
He did.
And that's with no due respect, because, I mean, there's a way to coach and a way to play that, it's okay. NDSU's FCS, I get it, but I'm not trying to make this Buffalo fan line sponsored by the Denver Post, but you run the ball, they use timeouts. You run the ball, they use timeouts. Nah, he's going to put a wide receiver on a double move and try to dagger somebody and embarrass them on some kind of 70-yard touchdown to win the game. Yeah. Okay, well, it didn't work.
No.
Well, then NDSU had the ball thrown into the end zone and didn't get there. So Dion has a lot to learn from his coaching standpoint, or his acumen or lack thereof. But I'll just never forget that Saturday night, man, when they're killing Stanford. My daughter's asking me, what does it take to go to, and then like the next question is, if they do go, will you pay for me? And then they get outscored 37-6.
Oh, no.
And it's just a disaster there. All right.
No.
And in our final few minutes together, we'll be doing marathon segments, 2 segments as we move forward, stuff like that. But the Vikings, I'm just going to let you stream your consciousness. You I know, watch the game or listen to the game. I know you're a fan. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think obviously it's the New York Giants, and we gotta take that into account.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we played really well. I think Sam honestly just came out and delivered balls that were just consistent balls that he thought his wide receivers could catch. He didn't do too much. That throw to Jets on the sideline was awesome. I saw that slant play into the end zone coming from a mile away. You can't single coverage Jets in that situation. It's just dumb. You have to put another person on.
Keep saying Jets.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm
it's
glad
not
you
JJ, right?
Well,
yeah,
no,
that's
but
what we're doing.
Jets.
What are we called?
Jets.
What are we calling him now? Because it's not.
He wants to be
right?
called Jets.
Jets. Okay.
I love he's JJ.
He's JJ. Okay.
And JJ. Yeah, I'm pushing through this. So it's there. Now we got a home game coming up.
We do.
Where they score touchdowns and they replay them at US Bank Stadium. And they boom.
Yeah.
So I got to get squared away on this. Like with Aaron Jones, I got something in my back pocket. If the TD works the right way, I think people will like. I missed a Rip Van Ginkel put the Giants to sleep call yesterday, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And with Jets, I just can't. He's Jets. There goes Jets. Fires deep right side. Up goes Jets. First down.
You don't like it?
It's not that I don't like it. I can't. It's not whether I like it. It's whether Justin likes it.
That's true.
But Justin wants it, so I got him. He just may have to be his God-given name until we figure this thing out.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I like it. But how great was Aaron Jones too? Oh my goodness, I think he was phenomenal. He played an awesome game.
His speed is fantastic.
And some stuff was just cut down at the line. Like there was nothing, and he just made something out of nothing. Like
he finishes runs forward.
Oh, so nice. Good. Yeah. It was so fun to watch him play. Obviously, he had a tremendous game. I think he had 14 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. So, I think a lot of really good pieces, and the defense was awesome. I think, obviously, like you said, you're playing against Danny Dimes, and it's not the quarterback and not the offense we're going to see next week with the 49ers coming to town. But I just love the way we were flying around. I love the new pieces. I thought we were great up front, where people thought we would, maybe wouldn't be as good with losing a couple key pieces from last year. But I love the way Pat Jones played. Obviously, Horrible Harry up front was awesome. Bullard was great too.
You got all the nicknames down, don't you?
I got them all.
Did we see Nudie on the field at all?
Yeah, not that I know.
Nudie was on the field, but he was inactive.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned it. It's the Giants, taking that into an account. You've played a lot of hoops. You have a non-conference season in which there's a difference between just beating the D2 school, the tune-up, and actually just whooping them by 30. You know what I mean? Where Giants have their issues. Vikings should have won that game, but you didn't eke it out with the last-second Reichard field goal. You put your boot on them, and you didn't stop, and then it was over early. Do you feel that vibe as an athlete, where that blowout, it's a lower-class team, but we accomplished everything we needed to as part of that? Well,
yeah, for sure. And I think, too, it's winning is so hard, and we've seen it for years as Vikings fans, as Minnesota sports fans. Winning is hard to do in general. There's so many pieces that have to go right for the Vikings to fly from Minneapolis to East Rutherford and play a football game and win the football game. Like, so many things have to go right. Not only did they go right, but we took care of business. We stood on the business that we said we were going to take care of. I can't remember who had the quote before the game, but they said, "Oh, we're not worried about the Giants' offense."
Ivan Pace Jr.
Ivan Pace? Of course,
and it didn't go over well with some.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they just don't. I mean, they're so constipated sometimes. They just don't want their guys talking like that.
Yeah, and
Ivan came straight out. You're right.
Did he slap somebody yesterday too? I think.
It was on the play where we didn't get the muff punt.
Oh yes,
the punt muff.
But he was like basically paraphrasing. tripping on Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And we're going to absolutely kill them. It was something like that. He knew what was coming.
I guess.
It ain't even a matchup or
That's
something
what it was.
like that.
Yeah, ain't even a matchup. That's what it was.
I guess he spoke it into existence. But no, I think you're right, Nordo. You got to go out and take care of business, and then that gives you confidence, right? You got the 49ers. You got a Super Bowl caliber team coming into town next week. If you eke your way past New York, now it's like, oh, things are starting to get a little tighter each day of the week. You get to Wednesday practice and you're like, this is tight. We barely beat the Giants. How are we going to do it to the Niners? But I think this is a team that should be confident about what they did week one and should have a lot of high energy rolling into Sunday at the bank.
As you know, lastly, each team, every team, no matter how good you are, they have marks.
Yes.
And the mark yesterday for the Giants clearly was 44 Nick McLeod. I mean, they really put him in a difficult spot. O'Connell is as good as anybody I've ever seen calling Vikings games, finding the mark and consistently going at them, even if the other team is trying to cover them up.
Yeah.
Now, the Niners don't have many marks. Everybody has marks, but the 49ers are just so organized compared to that Giants production that we saw yesterday. So you get a chance to scout the 49ers tonight.
Yeah, we will.
You watch every sporting event, don't you? I mean, you had a reference on Caleb Williams, and then you went over to, I was watching Dion. I saw Phil Lodehold, and then here, and Holy Family Girls Hockey. I mean, you watch everything, don't you?
He's got to talk about it in the cafeteria.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he's got to have talkers.
I can't not know what I'm saying, right? That I look dumb. No, I love it, man. Taylor's on me, though. She's like, is there a night that's not football? And I said, not really. Be ready. 17 weeks of it. So,
Well, Taylor gets Tuesdays.
Yeah, there you go.
Taylor gets Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Taylor gets Thursdays when they're bad teams.
Yeah.
Taylor gets Friday. Oh, wait, that's high school football. Go Matamidi.
There you go. Go Zaps.
Yeah, go
Tommy
Zaps.
Olsen right
I
there.
can't say go Zaps with Abbott in the building.
Man.
It's the cadets and Zaps, though, I know that's a rivalry
It has
immortality, as I learned 15 years ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to that one this year. Watch Abbott in action. But no, that's always been a rivalry.
Yeah.
We've always had.
You won't find him because they keep him he's the offensive coordinator.
Oh, does he sit up in the booth?
Well, yeah, because he doesn't have feeling in one of his feet. So therefore, he's a liability on the sideline.
Like Deion Sanders right
the
there.
high school-
Watch him trying to take the stairs.
Minnesota High
Stuff.
School League, whatever it's called, doesn't want to get sued by having somebody who can only feel 1 foot on the sideline.
That's a smart play. That's
Can't get out of his way, right? That's why Finch had to sit in the second
Yes,
row for a little
exactly.
bit.
That's
the
Couldn't
whole
defend
thing.
himself.
Yeah, that's why Abbott all of a sudden started watching the NBA and the Timberwolves because he had something in common with somebody. Can only use one leg.
texted Fitch after. How'd you feel sideline there? Were you able to get on? Oh, that's
What time
hilarious.
is it? It's 11:29. He'll get down here around 11:40. That's how long it'll take him to rip us about that.
We'll see you next week, all right?
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Parker Fox at Parker Fox 24 via the tweet machine. We're going to replay Nordo's montage around the corner and get some comments from Kevin OConnell before we say goodbye. Nordo with the montage to a Shaka Khan song called Once You Get Started. That was fantastic. And what's also fantastic before we get some post-game thoughts from Kevin OConnell, something I just saw on the tweet machine. Ben Gessling, who covers the Minnesota Vikings for the Star Tribune, he joins us every Tuesday at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. And the headlines in the New York tabloids, their newspapers, the back pages is where everything begins, and it's ballyhooed, is the New York Post off the Giants' loss yesterday. The headline with a picture of the quarterback looking inconsolable is Daniel Groans.
I always love that one.
The New York Daily News, yesterday they celebrated 100 years of New York Giants football, and the New York Daily News headline is, wait till next century.
I always love that one.
There's just no hope.
But there was a lot of hope with Sam Darnold yesterday, and Kevin OConnell talked about his throws.
Was there one throw in particular that impressed you from Darnold?
I thought there was a couple. I thought even the seam ball to Josh Oliver from under center, trying to take advantage of a look, trying to see if I could manufacture an easy throw but an explosive throw with that play, and he just absolutely drilled it. And then I thought, on the 99-yard drive, which I know it's been a while since we did that, I just thought that throw to Justin was remarkable. To be able to lean on the quarterback in that moment. to activate your best player, and for his trust and just a lot of time on task with those two building up. I mean, that's a really big time play in that moment to really set the stage for us to go down the field and come away with 7 when a team gets you backed up 99 yards like that. So I just thought there was examples of that throughout the game. There's a ton of things offensively we can clean up. There's a ton of things, even with our communication. First time out the gates, though, for him to play the way he did, poised, and then for us to be able to lean on the run game a little bit with a lead and churn out some first downs, I thought was really impactful for us. So really means absolutely nothing moving forward other than we're 1-0 and we accomplished the only thing we've really talked about, which is starting the season 1-0.
Kevin, how much was that Naylor touchdown, like the exact intent of what you guys wanted to happen on that play?
Pretty much the exact intent of what I wanted to have happen on the play. I felt like there was, between kind of what, there's always a little bit of early trying to figure out kind of coverage intentions with Justin and Jordan got some double teams today as well. There were some times on some of those third downs where both those guys were doubled and we needed to try to make a play elsewhere. But yeah, that was great setup of the play. You worry sometimes about sending different motions and things and the noise and silent cadence and getting it snapped. But I think it goes right along with kind of just the performance Sam had that will be really something we can build off of. But I'm really proud of him. I'm really talking about Speedy, first career touchdown, or at least first career he scored before, but first touchdown this year. And the way his practice week was like, Alec, he didn't get a whole lot of work. So to be able to be relied upon in that moment was really cool. And there's just a lot of things we'll build off of. There's a lot of things we'll clean up. It's good to clean up your first game when you're able to find a way to win.
Kevin, what is the update with Jordan Addison?
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. He did get an ankle. It was his other ankle than the one he's kind of had. We're going to have him fully evaluated. Don't know the severity of it yet. But Jordan made some big plays for us early on there, and then to lose him kind of affected a little bit of the flow there in the second half. But hopefully, it'll be a shorter-term thing. I do not have any real update other than he did not return. Bradbury missed a few, possibly could have missed a few snaps, but, we were able to get him transitioned and turned over with a knee. And then Van Ginkel, we just kind of held him out there late, just kind of precautionary thing, but he should be fine.
Is that a foot injury from the offseason?
Yeah.
And with Andrew Van Ginkel, it seemed like he was everywhere today.
Yeah, I know sometimes I try to give you guys as much clarity on a player's role as possible. That's a really hard one to do. You guys can see it with, it's not only just the impactful plays that touch the stat sheet, it's really, just the feel, the presence, the confidence. He's a major part of the communication. We can overload him so that we can let other people play fast around him, and then just the instincts. I mean, he just does not get enough credit for just the problem he is diagnosing plays. It's almost, Mike Linebacker-esque how he can diagnose things, but he's playing on the ball most of the time and having to do that with a heck of a lot less time and space to make those plays. And just thought that was, I kind of had a joke with him when we first signed him that I expected him to find the end zone this year. I did not know it was going to be the first game, which was pretty spectacular.
In terms of set the tone for the season?
Well, I think it sets the tone and puts a period on the sentence of let's prepare the right way for training camp. Let's have a mindset and a discipline and a confidence every single day to build towards a collective effort to win a football game. And because that's what this season is. It's about playing good football as consistently as you can. And there's, like I said, there's some things to clean up. There's a lot of positives that will show up on the tape, but there's no doubt momentum is a real thing in this league, and confidence. There's nothing like going out on a Sunday at an NFL stadium and winning a game, by a significant margin. And I just think our guys, there's nobody in that locker room surprised, shocked that we went out there and executed. I think it's just a confirmation of a lot of work that's been put in. Now, I've been talking to these guys a lot about the discipline. Discipline is not wave your finger and tell somebody they did something wrong. It's how do you show up every single day and be the same guy for the guy next to you, coaches and players included. loaded that leads to consistency, because we've got a tough early part of the season with our schedule. We're gonna attack every single week. Excited to get back to US Bank Stadium. Felt like US Bank a little there late in the game with the Skull Chants, and one of my favorite things about this job is our fans always show up.
This was the kind of game that Jet fans had hoped to see from Sam. Can you speak to what the experience and maturity now comes forward that you can see for what he's been through and how he's progressed?
Yeah, some of the folks I get to speak to quite often, they know I've talked a lot about the quarterback journey, and quarterbacks in our league don't get to control a lot of that journey, and they're expected to perform in some cases immediately. I've just always I really like the way Sam carries himself. He's a talented player. He can make big-time throws. Every throw we're going to ask him to make, he's more than capable of doing that. And then he's a great example of what this last month and a half has really been like, preparing in a way that will show up on a Sunday. There's, a lot of things that Sam, will probably come in here and say he can do better, but I can tell you starting 12 for 12 and having the presence, to help overcome that early adversity comes directly from the quarterback position. And that's probably why his teammates viewed him as a captain and almost unanimously voted him one. I can't say enough about what he was able to do and how excited I am to build on his performance today, moving forward.
That's head coach Kevin OConnell addressing the media shortly after yesterday's 28-6 Vikings victory. Final segment, final thoughts, 9 to noon around the corner. It's all.
I can't wait until tomorrow.
Boy, they gave Dak a lot of money, didn't they?
Yeah, how about that? I think it's $240 and $230. Some of it is guaranteed, so he'll be the highest paid NFL player. There's part of me with the way they operate. And Dak was good yesterday. I mean, they dismantled the Browns, and the Deshaun Watson, the offense, is a problem for Stefanski, so he has to fix that.
Was Deshaun terrible? I mean, I know you didn't watch the entire game, but from what you know, was he terrible?
Yeah, I watched a large part of it during Fan Line, absolutely. It was after the Vikings game. So,
okay.
And I was where you were until 5:30ish, so I saw most of it. He looks, I don't know if feeble's the right word. He just looks completely out of sorts and just no grasp of the offense. It's out of sync, out of time. So he's waiting too long and having to run, and he just doesn't have maybe the same burst. And Zimmer's boys they were cooking yesterday. Hey, all negative things aside, dude's a defensive coordinating genius.
He's one of the greats in the history of the NFL.
And he had him ready to rock week one. But Dak, yeah, I swear that the Cowboys and Jerry Jones loved it. While we were talking about it, Parsons is going to want to get paid. CD's sitting out. Who knows what they're going to do with Dak? Jerry Jones is just sitting around. Yeah, we'll pay him, but please keep talking about us on ESPN and all these networks every single day.
Yeah,
we get the deal inked and signed like 4 hours before the game, and they went out and they hustled on the shores of Lake Erie.
So they'll win 12 games and get bounced in the first round of the playoffs again.
Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, and finally, I thought the Lions looked really good last night, and here's why. Because the Rams have lost some players in some key spots, and Puka Nacua got hurt in the game. But for the Chiefs or the Lions, the Niners, those teams that make it to the Final Four,
yeah,
it's not just a snap and it's right to hit legit. So the fortitude and tenacity of these Detroit Lions and the way they pushed through that thing last night, man, that was just really impressive to me.
I think they were out of sync at times. I think Terrion Arnold is certainly, as a rookie, he's a work in progress. And Aiden Hutchinson was handling business, banged up offensive line. I think both their tackle, they moved Noteboom outside, and then their left guard was out as well. They had some injury issues with the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the biggest key to their success last year, and you mentioned they're not going to run out of the gates full speed, they were super poised at the end and ultimately just executed a near seamless drive in overtime to get out with a victory. And Goff, I think, is that. I think he's the star. He's the game changer when it comes to poise.
Right.
Not really getting out of sorts. Just next time up, we're going to be better. And they were. And they got out with the W.
Jets and Niners this evening. The return of Aaron Rodgers. And he'll take on the 49ers, who will then come to US Bank Stadium on a short week for the Vikings home opener.
We get a sneak peek tonight. That's sweet.
Thank you very much for listening to 9 to Noon. The program is next. But first, here's Norda with that wrap on the show.
And as always, thank Casey's for the 9 to noon show wraps. Casey's is your ultimate spot for elite pizza, food, and fuel rewards. We love you, Casey's. 9 to noon in the early season flow. Actually got to do a montage to kick off the show. Don't tell the lawyers I used a real song, not enough to love Shaka and give credit where it belongs. Kind of like giving credit to main man Sam. Feed that ginger, some green eggs and ham. 12 to start. JJ, sideline dime, offense in time like a well-constructed rhyme. As in the opposite of this end show rap. Listeners begging, please just shut your clap trap. If it's not the copyright jerks trying to sue us, it's PA getting duped by a fake tweet on Royce Lewis. But tomorrow, we're back to the facility. Only a game, but we're high on hope and no futility. Hear from KO, X and O inside. And as for you, tune in. Consider this your invite. Here we go, Paul!
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.